that second row of the grid to maintain that 100% record.
Steve, this is now the 8th season of the Asia Talent Cup, 7th full season, of course, because we lost most of 2020, and no less than 6 Asia Talent Cup graduates were Moto3 regulars over the course of this season. 2 of them have already moved up as far as Moto2. This is a good production line.
It is interesting with the Asia Talent Cup, a lot like the other Talent Cups as well. The first year, whenever you start these championships, there's always maybe 1 or 2 riders that look like they're going to be able to make that step. In Asia Talent Cup, Kaito Toba was the inaugural champion back in 2014. Of course, he's a Grand Prix winner since then. Then as the years progressed, we saw more and more quality riders coming through. If you think back to Redway 2017, that's when Dennis Onchu came on the scene in Asia Talent Cup, Chan Onchu as well. Of course, both of them able to have good results in the Grand Prix paddock, and the Super Sport paddock in particular for Chan Onchu. We've seen Dennis Onchu on the podium in Grand Prix classes. Of course, Chan was able to win a Grand Prix as well on his debut. It does show that the Asia Talent Cup can help you find some talent and then nurture it onto the top stage.
A quick mention for anyone watching from back in Europe, a couple of riders who might be considered familiar faces. Mentioned Hakim Denish. He joined the European Talent Cup back in June. In fact, he's done most of his riding this summer over in Europe, so he will be a familiar face. And another Charles Sharil, who managed to get in 2 European Talent Cup seasons during the curtailment, effectively, of the 2020 Asia Talent Cup. So a couple of familiar faces for those of you based back in Europe.
Yeah, and certainly it is interesting whenever we see some of the Asian Talent Cup riders move across to race in the European Talent Cup as well. It does show that for these riders, there's opportunities to be able to show their talents. Obviously, for a lot of these Asian riders, they want to get the chance to go race in Europe. The CB paddock, obviously, a real opportunity for them to make a name for themselves. We've seen that in the last few years, even with the likes of Shona Shimura, who won the championship back in 2019, and Billy Van Erde as well. He's been able to race in the European Championships and the CB Moto3 Junior World Championship. And indeed, we saw him in World Super Sport this year as well.
And as far as the World Championship is concerned, it's very much Tayo Furusato who's the rider to watch for the future. He's set for his debut in the Moto3 World Championship with Honda Team Asia in 2022.
Yeah, certainly for Honda Team Asia, we've been able to see them bring through quite a few riders over the years, and there's a lot of pressure on Furusato to be able to really make that step. Obviously, we've seen Asian riders, Japanese riders over the last few years have good success. You think to even the likes of Sasaki, of course, well, a former champion in the Asia Talent Cup and a regular in the Moto3 World Championship. This is the proving ground for riders from this region. You come from the Middle East, Asia, and down in Australia. This is where you get the opportunity to race in front of big crowds and in front of big audiences as well in terms of the paddock. And that's where, when you're supporting the Grand Prix classes or World Superbikes, you can make a bit of a name for yourself.
Going back to Furusato, a slightly different situation for him compared to what he's been used to in the Asia Talent Cup. This is the first time he's been kept on pole position in his 4 Asia Talent Cup appearances, including the one, of course, in 2020. So you might have to get a bit used to the old elbows, particularly in the early laps.
Yeah, the one thing is this grid, of course, is set from last week's grid positions, and they've also had another couple of practice sessions today as well.
Yes, there will be another qualifying tomorrow for what is round 4, which is Saturday afternoon's race, and Sunday's race as well. We're at the halfway mark of this 2021 season, and half of the season is taking place just in 4 days over the course of this weekend in Indonesia.
Yeah, and in this morning's practice sessions, it was Furusato that led the way by a couple of tenths of a second. Keep an eye out on the number 15 from the outside of the second row.
Furusato leads the championship, 100 points out of 100. Can he maintain that unbeaten run over the course of the Indonesian round this weekend? Lights out on race 1 of 4 at the Mandalika International Circuit. And the immediate fast start is with Daniel Sharil, the pole sitter. Will watch out for Furusato, the number 15, cutting his way to try and claim the racing line in towards turn number 1, but he's going to get squeezed up there between 2 bikes. Another tries to come round him. He jostles for position in the mid-pack. And this is exactly what we've been saying. We've got our championship leader further back down the grid than he's ever been before, and getting rather bullied in the run towards the first turn.
Yeah, it makes some progress. There was Hamada that was diving down the inside with the yellow helmet on the number 8 machine, but Furusato able to dust him aside as we came through the next couple of corners. He's up there inside the top 5. Really good start from Daniel Sharil from the pole position, able to convert that.
Yes, Furusato fighting his way back, as you say, up into 5th position. Danish is the next rider, so the next target, as it were, for him. Hakim Danish doing a great job off the line himself and moving up into P4. And it's Daniel Sharil who leads the way, very tight as you'd expect among that lead group, just a second covering the top 10 riders, and a faller towards the second half of the group as they make their way through. And that's always one of those perils of the early laps of Asia Talent Cup. Although I have to say that the attrition hasn't been particularly high in this championship so far in 2021 over the course of the 2 weekends in Qatar. I think it might have been Hamada who we lost from that group. That's now confirmed on the screen. So Kanta Hamada who has fallen there on right hand.
Yeah, and easily done down in towards turn 10. We saw in the running in the free practice sessions for Superbike and Supersport as well, there's a couple of areas in this track where it does get quite tight, and turn 10, the end of the lap here as well, and turn 15, there are areas where you can easily end up collecting another rider to make a small mistake.
That starts the weekend then for Kanta Hamada, who, as I said, on the grid, was one of the pre-season favourites for this championship. It's going to be a first non-scoring race of the season for him, fifth in the series standings. He was also fifth position on the grid, but that's all going to be for nothing now as he goes down on the opening lap of 16. These are effectively full-length races, the kind of race distance that those of you familiar with the World SBK paddock will used to be seeing for Supersport 300 as Hamada stalks his way away from the incident. This time we get to see it, and it's exactly as I suggested, a bit of bumping and boring there in towards turn 10.
Yeah, and it looks like he just might have gotten a bit of a punt from behind and helped into that exit, but for Hamada it's not going to make too much difference. He knows he's down and out, and he's got 3 races left for this weekend, or 3 races left for the season to be able to bounce back.
Yes, one by one though, each of these riders are going to be ruled out of championship contention because it's Furusato who looks as though he's well on his way towards the series lead. Our lead trio just jostling for position there, and it's Hongo, who was the race leader at the start of the previous sector, who's missed out there. I think missed the corner completely, frankly, just went to the outside line and got picked off. So Shiril, I think that was coming through, and Furusato is also up there now in the top position. Shiril then recovers your race lead. It's Furusato now on his tax, and the big 2 from the last couple of races last time out in Qatar look like they're going to go nose to tail once again this time for the first ever race here in Indonesia.
Yeah, we saw Carter Thompson running wide there as well, losing a couple of spots in the number 6 machine. Thompson, he's been mentored by Damien Cutland as well back in Australia, and a rider that has been highly regarded in the Aussie circles for the last couple of years, but obviously COVID over the course of the last 2 years has meant that it's been a fairly curtailed start to his international career, but good to see him able to get out here in the Asia Talent Cup for a full season and learn from the experiences. You see the front of the field, Shiril's done a good job in these opening couple of laps. He's kept his nose clean, kept out of trouble, and he's got Furusato just behind him now, and certainly what we've seen through the course of this year is they look to try and break away. This track is one that you could theoretically break away from him on a Talent Cup bike, because there are some sections of the track where you will be able to take an advantage if you avoid getting yourself into a battle with the riders around you.
Yes, and of course the longest straight on the circuit just over 500 metres in length, so it doesn't facilitate that kind of slipstream train in the same way as some of the other venues that you might be used to seeing in the Asia Talent Cup. It's Shiril who leads, but Furusato now right on his tail, so that 0.2 of a second, that quarter of a second advantage from the start of this lap 3 has already been eroded, and Furusato already thinking about making a move, and he's going to go all the way around the outside here of the pole sitter Daniel Shiril to hit the front, and it's Furusato, the number 15, the 16-year-old, the unbeaten. It's Pierre in second position, Daniel Shiril fighting his way through. I think now up into third position, coming through on Danish on the inside of him there. You can see the number 13, that's Danish on the outside, Shiril the number 21 making his way through. Carter Thompson sticking with them, as is Hongo. So now this is 4 riders in contention for a podium position. We've been in this situation before where the top 2 have been able to break away in the Asia Talent Cup. It's 6 tenths of a second now, the gap to bridge for Daniel Shiril. A new personal best for Shiril last time around. He's just come across the line. That's Hongo who's gone down, coming off the final turn. So Hongo, who was one of the riders in the 4 riders, the quartet chasing third position, he's gone down spectacularly there, coming off the final turn.
Yeah, looks good with gravel, pushed onto the track as well in the exits there, the last corner, but that's a shame for Hongo. But we've seen that obviously in that second part of the group, the riders have to push on because they're seeing it start to split out, and he just runs out onto the green paint, and there is that bit of a kick off the curve there for him. You can see there the
level of the curve certainly different to the level of the track and the asphalt surface around the curve. I was saying earlier on, Steve, when we were watching free practice practice in Superbike. Saw Jonathan Ray at one point come down off a curve and get all unsettled by it. These curves do seem to be particularly high here in Indonesia. This is a new venue, and we're talking about smoothing out the circuit, but it's not smooth offline, that's for sure. That'll stop them from using the repayment.
Yeah, definitely seeing a track limits, that's the penalty, and Congo just caught out by that, but those are riders in that second part of the lead group, they do need to push on, otherwise they're not going to be able to catch up to the race lead. It does look like at this stage, so Furasada and Mia have that enough of an edge. In third position, Daniel Sharil, he's trying to catch that, but he's got about a second to make up.
He did make up 4 tenths of a second last time around for Furasada, the race leader. That was on lap number 9 with a new personal best from Daniel Sharil, the number 21. You can just see coming into the background of that shot there. He's leaving the 2 riders directly behind him further adrift. Danish and Thompson don't look to be able to live with him. He's actually managed to make a gap of half a second on this lap around to the right behind him, and another new personal best lap from Daniel Sharil, and having dropped back to 6th position at one stage after a minor error that cost him 2 seconds to the lead, and he's now only 6 tenths of a second behind Furasato and in front. Lap 11 of 16, there is still time for Sharil really to make this a 3-rider fight for those podium places.
It's worth really important for Furasada to get his head down as well, because we've seen they stretch out a little bit of a lead over the number 5 of Mia as well at around about 3 tenths of a second, so he is trying to open up a bit of a gap, but he also knows that Daniel Sharil is that rider on charge, and Sharil's done a really good job to set his fastest lap, comes again within a couple of tenths of a second in second position.
Yes, Mia doing a good job really to stick with the leader for Sato, as we say. Sharil an exceptional job to close back in on him. Here's Fadila Aditamo, who we were talking about earlier on, the man who'll be taking his place in the Rookies Cup for 2022. He's only had 1 race finish so far this season, and that was race 1 of the Doha Grand Prix. Came home in 8th position, and Aditama up in P6 here today. That, frankly, is the best he can hope for, unless there's further drama up in those top 5 positions, because we've got a trio at the front separated by just 6 tenths of a second. Sharil is right with them now, and within striking distance of making a pass on Mia for 2nd position. He's still Furasato leading. Then we've got a second to Carter Thompson in P4 and Danish in P5, and behind them 9 seconds to Aditama and Fadila, a couple of Indonesian riders there strapping it out for P6. Slight mistake there from Sharil. That's given a bit of breathing room to Mia in P2.
Yeah, he's going to be able to pick up the slipstream then and start finish straight and close that gap a little bit, but at the front of the field we're seeing Furasada again, those low woman at 45 with the fastest rider in the group is still Daniel Sharil, even with that mistake at the end of it.
So Sharil closing back down on Mia and Furasato. Through on the inside comes Danish, Hakan Danish coming through for 4th position on Carter Thompson, but unless something dramatic happens among those top 3, which is entirely possible in the closing stages, then it does look as though they're only scrapping for P4. They're making entertainment
in hand. We'll see if he's able to really try and scratch out his lead now in this lap. He looks like he's got his head down, wants to try and really be aggressive and open up a bit of a gap. It was only 2 tenths of a second when he came across the line. It's up to half a second now.
Yes, you can see it on the screen, the gap to the leader, 8 tenths of a second for Mia in 3rd position, and it could very well turn into a duel between Sharil and Mia here for 2nd place, because Furasato really kicking on. Sharil responding around that latest sector and through the twistiest up and in towards turn 10. They're making their way now, the leaders, through turns 11 and 12. It switches on to the final sector as we switch back to the battles further down here in the day. They switched at just the right time there, making a lunge down the inside. I think that might have been an Aditama, and both of them have gone down and into the gravel trap. Aditama looks none too pleased with Deo there after that ambitious move down the inside. Another incident at turn 10.
Yeah, for Aditama that was out of 6th position, and of course for a really good performance here this home round. See Carter Thompson then making moves through the fast right handles at the end of that.
And this will be for 4th position. As Hakim Danish loses a place, Carter Thompson then through back into P4. These two have been swapping and changing. I suspect that if we'd been watching just that battle, we would have seen another 100 of those overtaking manoeuvres. We're now on to the penultimate lap of the race for the leaders. Furasato 4 tenths of a second up ahead of Sharil, who's got in front of Mia and made a 3 tenths of a second advantage.
Yeah, you can see that Aditama there on the number 3 going down, and again, like you said, Alex, another move into turn 10. It's easy to be a little bit ambitious on the run into there, and just to have an instant like that in front of the field. Furusato doing a good job now, just to keep that lead at right about 3/10 of a second. Shirley's digging in. Last time around in the final sector, in front of the field, Furusato doing a good job now, just to keep that lead at right about 3/10 of a second. Shirley's digging in. Last time around in the final sector, he just closed back to within a couple of tenths of a second, but it's really difficult to try and close that gap down in Furusato.
We've seen that already in 2021 in the Asian Talent Cup. Furusato happy to lead at the front of the field, happy to try and break his rivals, but pure pace, not too worried about the slipstream advantage that's given to the riders behind him, because he knows he's got an inherent pace advantage. He wasn't able to show it in qualifying here a week ago, but thanks to the free practice sessions as well earlier on today, he's clearly got to grips with this 4.3 kilometre Mandalika International Circuit, our first ever race here around this venue, and it's in the Asia Talent Cup, but it looks like the one thing that hasn't changed is our race leader. Furusato in front, looking set to extend his series.
Shirley's doing a good job on this lap, though, holding with him, and he's a tenth of a second faster so far, but the clock is winding down all the way. It's really important now for Shirley to get close enough to try and attack into turn 1.
Looking as though it's going to be the same top two for 3 races in a row. We had this finishing order between Furusato and Daniel Shirley in both of the races at the Doha Grand Prix. Furusato has had only one finishing position in 2021, and they've all been worth 25 championship points. Shirley then 2 tenths further down, and we've got a fall, and is that Danish? Yes it is, it's Danish who's gone down in his fight with Carter Thompson. Last time over the line he was in front, I think, of Thompson in the battle for 4th place. We'll see what happens here.
Keep an eye in the background, and you're going to see for Danish, just tries to be a little bit aggressive through that last corner, trying to make sure he's able to close up on Carter Thompson to set up a move on the final lap, and just asks a bit too much of his Honda machinery.
Yes, now look at the leader, a second between them on this final lap. Shirley has managed to find something a little bit special, a little bit extra. He was stuck down in 6th position at one stage. He's fought his way through onto the tail of Furusato. Furusato is still unbeaten in 2021. Daniel Shirley might be about to have a go at stopping that from being the scenario. They make their way now in towards turn 10. This has been an action hotspot all race long. It's been an incident hotspot all race long as well. Furusato there defending to the inside. It's going to be single file through here. Turns 11 and 12 in towards the final sector. Shirley chooses now down the inside into 12. Catches Furusato by surprise. Opportunity for Furusato on the number 15 here to make a recovery in similar fashion as they come off 13 and 14. What about a lunge into turn 16, the slowest corner on the circuit? Daniel Shirley looking for his first race victory since his return to the Asian Talent Cup. He was last a winner in Thailand 2018. He's fighting for the lead here against Furusato, the championship leader, who goes soaring around the outside bravely. 2 turns to go, 16 and now 17. They come through the left-hander, and it's Furusato who once again leads. It is Tayo Furusato of Japan to make it 5 wins out of 5, and the inaugural race victory at the Mandalika International Circuit goes to Tayo Furusato. The first time this season that he's been on pole position, the first time he's ever been on pole position in the Asia Talent Cup, but he doesn't disappoint. He comes through to the front. He leads almost throughout. Daniel Shirley was disappointed with that, shaking his head, putting his hands practically as he made his way back in towards turn number 1. Shirley's second best, but only by 2 tenths of a second. That's 3 races in a row now where he's tried to give Furusato a real run for his money. Gamir with his 3rd podium finish of this 2021 campaign, 2nd time that he's finished in P3. Carter Thompson, an isolated 4th position in the end after late drama for Hakim Danish. So it does look as though we're really going to have 14 finishers to this race. I think I cursed it earlier on when I said that there haven't been that many retirements in the Asian Talent Cup in 2021. And that means that Fadilla on the red cap Fadilla making his debut in the Asia Talent Cup is a strong performer, the Indonesian rider with P5 ahead of Hurjan Ferdaus, who takes P6, and Shirley, Pratama, Fujita and Buapa eventually remounting to come home for 10th place. So a bit of wacky races at times, but the one thing that was, as we might have anticipated before the lights went out, a fine victory that from Furusato, bowled around that final sector in particular.
Yeah, Furusato coming through from the second row of the grid, and he'll have to do the same again in tomorrow morning's race, but certainly for him he's able to show once again the talent that he has on offer. That last corner move that he made through the long right-handers, he ever decreased racing radius right-handers. It really was impressive. That took the breath away, really. And Daniel Sherrill did nothing wrong during the course of that race. He holds the right line in the run into those right-handers. You saw whenever he came across the line, he had to look up to the skies and just think, what do I have to do to win a race?
And aggressive when he needed to be as well through turn 12. I wasn't expecting really to see a move there, but Sherrill got close enough to try and strike and capitalised on the opportunity.
Yeah, and I think for Sherrill, put everything he could onto this and left it all on the track, and we saw that he was able to set fast lap times to bridge himself back up to the two race leaders. But ultimately, in that final lap, Verstappen just had that little bit in hand, and a really daring move by Verstappen. But that's why he's the rider that's already guaranteed to be on the World Championship grid next year.
One of the main elements as far as the Indonesian spectators here this weekend will be concerned. Great count for Dylan, the number 24, on his Asia Talent Cup debut, and coming home for fifth position. A couple of Indonesian riders scoring decent points here today, and every reason then for the spectators to be satisfied, and hopefully their riders will come back for more here over the course of this weekend. We've still got 3 races to go in the Asia Talent Cup for 2021, and indeed for this Indonesian round. We've got effectively 2 rounds this weekend, round 3 and round 4 of the Asia Talent Cup, with 4 races, as I say, in total.